Hello, trash kickers. This is T Brown 65. I have a very important topic to discuss. This topic is about violence in the United States. As we all know, George Floyd was counterfeiting a $20 bill, and when the cops arrested him, they put their feet down on George Floyd's neck and broke it, resulting in a loss of life. As a result of this incident, people got very angry. People formed protests, they formed riots. And this incident took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And with the protesting and the rioting, it's now spreading throughout the United States. And during the protesting, people were getting beaten by the police. There are lives being taken as a result. There are people burning down buildings during the rioting, destroying property, etc. As a result of the violence that's going on, police brutality and rioting, Donald Trump, the President of the United States, has made a speech about it and announced his plans to stop it from happening. The two things that he's listed in his plan to stop violence in the United States is either have the states put the law in place to stop the violence from happening, or if the states don't do it, he will deploy military service to help stop it from happening. And the police stations, some of them have put a new policy in place that any police officer who's in favor of the George Floyd situation will be required to turn in their badges, and they will lose their jobs as a result of their actions. My response to this situation is, you know what, I am glad that Donald Trump has addressed it, and I'm glad that police stations are taking action, because violence does not solve anything. Violence only makes things worse. Yeah, surely we live in a sensitive culture, and this culture contributes to violence, and people are angry because of the culture we live in. But it doesn't justify their actions. I still think people who orchestrate it should be held accountable and be severely punished. With the George Floyd situation, I understand why people are angry. Okay, I understand why the cops are angry at George Floyd for what he's done, but the treatment that he received was absolutely unacceptable. And what the cops did to George Floyd, they need to be punished. They need to be locked away in prison for the rest of their lives. So that way, when other cops do the same thing, they'll think twice before doing it. And with the severe penalties in place, they'll be more scared to do the same thing as what the ones did to George Floyd. And in Donald Trump's speech, he has announced that people who orchestrate violence, who orchestrate rioting, anything to do with destruction of property, these people will be severely penalized. They will be put in prison for long periods of time. And that's excellent that he's announced it, and hopefully he'll actually follow through what his plans are. Okay? Because violence is dangerous. Too many lives are taken as a result of violence. Violence in the United States cannot go on any longer. Okay? We cannot tolerate it. And it's time that we put an end to it before the United States puts itself into serious trouble. May I ask all of you to please respect the people who've lost their lives, the innocent people specifically. And I want all of you to realize that what happened to George Floyd was absolutely unacceptable, and it's unjustifiable. I'm all for equal treatment. It does not matter what your protected attributes are. That includes, but not limited to, age, gender, ethnicity, immigration status, veteran status, sexual orientation, religion, etc. These protected attributes do not mean anything to me. What does mean something to me is their actions. Actions are what you judge people by, not their protected attributes. And this inequality that's going on, I understand why people are angry, but violence is not the answer. Okay? Look what Martin Luther King did back when he was in an era where black people weren't given any rights. You want to know what he's done? He's done nonviolent protests, and ultimately black people were given the rights, the same rights as the whites and other groups of people. Okay? With the nonviolent protesting, it should result in the same outcome as the protest that Martin Luther King Jr. has done. So, I want to ask all of you to put an end to violence. Violence does not solve anything. Violence only contributes to problems. It does not solve problems. And I express my condolences to people who were wrongfully devastated. What George Floyd has done was unacceptable and should be punished, but not with a capital penalty. Okay? He should have received a jail sentence instead. And anyone who orchestrates counterfeiting should receive jail sentences, not capital penalties. Okay? The only instances when capital penalties would be necessary are when it comes to dealing with violent actors. That includes mass shooters who take out so many lives and terrorists, because they are a menace to society, and it is necessary that they are put down before more tragedies happen. This is T Brown 0065, and I want to say that no matter who you are, your life matters. And I want to thank you for your understanding, and thank you for watching this video. And I am hoping, and for those of you who try to talk down on me about subjects like this, the only reason why you're like that is because you don't know how to respect people who've lost their lives. And I'm ashamed of you, and you should be ashamed of yourself. To the rest of you, the people who are on the same boat as I am, I applaud you, and I thank you for supporting my argument. Thank you, and I sincerely hope that all of you have a good one.